Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, I was asked by a family to switch seats on a plane, ended up being charged for their snacks. X won the lottery, I want some. Entitled parents tried to self-invite themselves up to the hospital. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. I was asked by a family to switch seats on a plane, ended up being charged for their snacks. I boarded my plane and had an aisle seat. When I got to the seat, I see a woman with a small child in the middle and window seat. She looks at me when I sit down, kinda hesitating to ask me something until I acknowledge her, and she then asks if I could switch seats with her husband, who had an aisle seat right next to me, the row over, so they were literally across from each other. In most cases, when asked, I say no, but it felt weird to say no in this instance since the seat they asked me to switch was the exact same and the row next to mine. They spent the majority of the flight playing with their child. A few hours after I get home, I get a receipt to my email about in-flight food purchased. I didn't buy anything on the plane. I don't know how this happened, but he probably didn't inform the flight attendant when he ordered food, so it just charged it to the seat, which is under my name. The whole thing cost only $8, and the point isn't the money, it's the fact that at some point in time he should have done the right thing and spoken up so it could be charged to the appropriate account. It definitely feels shitty to have tried to do something nice for a family and this happened. This just shows me why more and more people continue to have lack of empathy for families on airplanes. I'm sharing so other people are aware if they choose to switch seats what could potentially happen. Dispute the charge. Report the other passenger for credit card fraud, for charging his stuff to your card. I would have reported this just for the principle. How is this even possible? Every time I brought in flight, you add your seat and your card details via the app or QR code. I've accidentally mixed my seat by a row, but they figured out a toddler wouldn't have ordered wine and cheese. But it was all prepaid. 'Cause it's a lie. It's a bullshit story. I said about the same thing. In the past year, I have taken about 40 flights with so many different airlines, and not once have I not needed to pay with a card. If it's not a lie, OP should name the airline, because I seriously doubt this is true. I call BS. You have to pay with your physical card each time. They don't charge by seat number. Flight attendant wife says BS on this story. You can pre-order, but you pay with credit card on plane. They don't pre-bill a seat. And if they did, it would still be in the original purchaser's name unless you went to gate agent to actually change seat assignments. I'm almost certain this wasn't intentional on their part and is just a screw up by the airline. It probably wouldn't even occur to me that the airline would decide charge my food to my original seat. X won the lottery, I want some. Me and my ex split up approximate 5 years ago. We are on good terms and divorced approximate 4 years ago. We have our children 50/50ths and he has since married. Recently he got a large lotto win in the millions and he is refusing to give me a share. I believe I am entitled to some PF as I am still receiving child support from him, and it's unfair that our children don't receive the same comfort of lifestyle when at both homes. The children should be able to have the same comforts at both houses and not feel that dad buys them better gifts and clothes than I can afford. He says it's his money and I ain't getting a cent. How do I convince him he is treating his kids the wrong way? Doesn't qualify for choosy beggar, but holy smokes, it sure does take the entitlement cake for the day. Someone's salty she missed out on a payday. I was wondering how the community responded to the post and if OOP was shamed. If she looked upon the face of God, her bodily composition wouldn't change much. Her ex doesn't owe her anything. As long as he keeps providing for his kids, that money is none of her business. He should put money in trust for his kids in case she tries to take him back to court, and tell judge he set his kids up with trusts for when they're older. Money grubbing creep. Open accounts with him and the kid's only mother won't be able to touch it. I would wonder if the poster would feel the same if the position were reversed and they were the one who won the lottery, but I think we all know the answer. Oh no, that'll be her money for her and her kids, not for him and his new family. That was one of the most asked questions too. Kinda reminds me of the post where a lady found out baby daddy got a raise or bonus. She took him back to court to increase his child support. When DNA test was done, the kid was not his. So she lost that dollar and was asking help to convince him to continue to pay. My favorite part of that one was the phrasing used. The baby mama claimed her kid failed the paternity test. As long as he doesn't owe back support, he owes her nothing. If the amount of child support was based on his income and her assets, then she might have a legal claim to go to court and ask them to increase it. Like, if the judge only set it up for 17% of his paycheck because he made almost no money and didn't own anything, and all of a sudden he comes into a large amount of money, they could decide he should be giving more to support his kids. And they often do set things like alimony and child support when one spouse has significantly more than the other for precisely the reason she states, so that they don't favor their dad over her because he can buy them nicer things. But it shouldn't be just giving her a share of the money. This isn't as bad as the lady who posted on legal advice asking if she can get her neighbor who babysits for free to help her out to pay child support. According to her, he has taken on a parental role. Entitled parents try to self-invite themselves up to the hospital. So I am currently 26-week pregnant and my entitled parents decided that they were going to self-invite themselves up to the hospital when Bub was born. Now my mother has had 6 children of her own and my twin and I were born via C-section, so she knows that at this not too many guests is best, but she's going to get her neighbors to drive her and my dad up to the hospital. It wasn't "oh, when the baby is born can we come up," it was just "I am going to get such and such to bring me up the hospital." She did not like my answer when I said no, as I not having anyone but my husband in the hospital. I might just add that my parents, especially my father, are abusive, controlling idiots, who told me at the start of my pregnancy to have an abortion and that we should be trying for a family. These are the same people who were going to bring my brother to my home for my husband's birthday weekend without checking with us first, and it wasn't until I spoke to them one day that they told me what they were planning and what did he need to bring. My brother is a self-entitled brat who helps himself to things that are not his and threw a tantrum like a 5-year WHA. I told him, "You're not coming and I am not babysitting you all weekend." He cannot and will not get along with others and starts arguments. Why do you put up with this? They shouldn't be in your child's life if this is how they behave. I don't. I put my foot down, have very little contact with them, and the contact I do have is on my terms. Make sure they don't have the keys to your home. And no spares are around. And definitely make sure your neighbors know not to let them in if they have one. If they come and drop him off, tell them they will be taking him back. Under 18, or we will call the cops for child abandonment. Above 18, he will sit outside and not be permitted inside at all. When it's time to deliver your baby, tell all the nursing staff no one is allowed in delivery room or anywhere near you, other than your husband. If your parents show up, to have security informed and escorted away. They will have your back and keep parents out. At your home, alert your neighbors, especially if any have a key to your home. They are not to allow anyone inside, regardless of what story they tell. Remove any outside hidden keys. If neighbors see/hear suspicious activity, to call the police immediately. Remain LC with these toxic people. Any and all contact is done on your terms only. If it were me, I'd go full NC and block them everywhere, never want them influencing my child. Don't tell them when you go into labor. I would consider not contacting them ever again. Good luck with the new baby. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.